Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Friday. Today, our guest is Thar Casey. Hi, Thar. How are you?
I am doing very well, Maurizio. Very, very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Not so bad. It's Friday. Where are you located, Thar?
I am actually now in the Bay Area, California. It's near San Francisco.
Good. So, so you are CEO of AmberSemi. Tell us more about you, your hobbies, for example, and your background. Tell Power Electronics News community more about you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. It's nice actually to talk a little bit outside of what I do because that's all I do every day is talk about what we do at Amber. Um, I am a self-motivated, high energy serial entrepreneur. I
Mhm.
look for gaps, I look for holes, I look for specific needs. And when I look at them and I see that there are holes in this case, and these holes can be filled, then I try to go and find a way to fill them. I don't like to come up with something that it's another Me Too or
Mhm.
another added bell and whistle to something exist. I like to come up with something that is very disruptive, where people look at me and then they say, "This is stupid." When people say that and they think it's stupid, then I know that I am on something very big and very good because it means I have all of the IP portfolio that I can carve out in this case. I know that people have not thought about it. As long as I can pull it off, it means that I
Mhm.
am on something big. And that's kind of what drives me. It's that cutting edge.
Good. So you served several companies like CEO, in
Yes.
particular in some medical, so about
Yes.
medical technology. So I'm curious to know which medical technology at that time you were working on. But so my other question is, what inspired you to become a CEO? So what uh, leadership principles have you found to be most effective?
Very good. This is important because I've always been in a position of either supervisory or leadership position since I was young, if you will, in my early career. I started my career in banking. I was retail banking, as a matter of fact. So I found myself to be in my early 30s to be an executive of a publicly traded a company, a bank, financial institution. I was a VP of finance. But I am also living in Silicon Valley. So then I've decided to shift in this case from being in the banking to the semiconductor world, and I became a chief financial officer for a semiconductor company. And
Mhm.
then a buddy of mine and I got together and talking about this medical device, if you will, that we can come up with where it will solve a lot of problems. He is the founding engineer, and he was the CEO in the company, and I was the CFO and VP of operations when we started the company. And the whole idea behind this, and it's so exciting, and that's why I'm so passionate about life science, because what it does, it solves problems, Maurizio. It solves problems. When you see the wow effect from people experiencing, you give them something that it gives them that, for example, a hearing. They're living in the dark. They're living in the dark. They can't hear. They can't communicate. They see the world is moving right by them, but they can't hear. They can't hear their kids sleeping at night or crying at night, or they can't hear the birds, okay, chirping in the morning. They can't hear any of this stuff. Why? Because they're using conventional hearing device that sits on the outside of the ear canal, and they have to take it out and put it back in. They have to replace a battery every 5, 7 days. And this buddy of mine and I decided, why not come up with a hearing device that goes deep in the ear canal? It sits 1 millimeter away from the eardrum, and it solves all these problems. And people can wear the hearing device for up to 4 to 6 months. And it is so exciting to see in this case, people are wearing devices and nobody can see it. Dr. Oz showed it on his TV show, and he brought a very attractive young lady, long hair, and she's hiding her ears with long hair because of she's wearing a hearing device. and there's a stigma around hearing devices. And then when he put our device deep in her ear canal, within 20 seconds, that's all it is, 20 seconds, you place it in there, and the programmability, it's wireless. And then boom, and you can see her. It's like, you can see the light bulb and you can see the excitement. So I've had so many people during the clinical trials, they come back to me and they say to me, I heard my child last night for the first time while I'm sleeping. Okay, I hear the birds in the morning. It's a profound impact on some of these people's quality of life.
Wow.
That drives me, my friend. You could see you got my energy going already.
So, and now you, as I said earlier, you are CEO of Amber Semiconductor, and you are working on digital control of electricity and with several applications. I will get the honor to meet you at APEC in a couple of
Yes.
days. This is for the first time I will meet you. So, which are the today problems that designers are facing? What role do you see technology playing in the future of your company? How do you plan to stay ahead of emerging trends in digital control of electricity?
Very good question. To start with, I actually welcome competition. And the reason I say this, a lot of people say it because they say, oh, competition is good. No, I welcome competition because I am on a cutting edge of breaking some barriers that has never been broken before, and I'm bringing it to the world that is not familiar with. My cutting edge technology, Maurizio, and you've been covering us for a long time, it's a game changer. Therefore, if I don't have enough, in this case, momentum from other companies coming into the space, then digital control of electricity in solid state protections or motor control or LED lights or any of this stuff, it could end up, dissipating and then slowly start disappearing, and nobody will pay attention to it, and we lose an opportunity to transform the electrical power and the grid and all the way, everything in electricity. It's a new way of new architecture design that we're coming up with. It's not just the technology, but the architecture, in this case, design. And new architecture designs, we don't see it except every 20, 30 years. New technologies comes every year, perhaps. But what we have, it's a new architecture design of controlling electricity, manipulating the electrical sine waves. So what are we solving here? Well, look, I mean, if you go, like if we were to take our enabler, which is a power supply that converts AC to DC, well, that's what the world is familiar with. Okay, it's a power supply that converts AC to DC. We don't convert AC to DC. We actually extract DC directly from AC main. And by doing such in this case, we have the opportunity to use a microcontroller inside our system, where in this case, it built it intelligence in it, where it recognized what voltage coming in, what voltage that I want to put out. It can be anywhere in the world. I can serve any kind of voltage on the outside on the DC, and I can integrate inside microcontroller. So if you take like the semiconductor world, okay, right now they have to rely on a power supply. And the power supply that we know what we have today, it's good. They're good. They're serving well. But I'm coming up with something a little bit better with a different design, and I'm going to have better efficiency. I'm going to have better quality. I'm going to have better ripple effect. No ripples, matter of fact, in mine. Better recovery, and I can go on and on and on. Actually, we just had a press release today. We just taped out this technology. But Maurizio, I'm going to enable the engineer in this case, okay, who is the determined factor of the solution on what they're going to design in. I'm going to give that engineer the opportunity to design relative to the latest and greatest, smallest footprint, better quality, better through output, and also efficiency and everything else. So I am going to save energy. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to make it sexier and longevity by far. Look, if we take any product out there, what's the first thing that is going to go out? Power supply. Okay, they use organic materials. It dries up over a period of time. And that's only one piece of our technologies. We have AC switching, as you know, too.
And for our audience, so on powerelectronicsnews.com and eetimes.com, if you search digital control Amber, you can find my articles that I wrote based on interview with Tar about this technology. So Tar, during your career from schools until other jobs, so CEO, who has inspired you most in your life? So during this year, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced during your life, during your career? In particular, how did you overcome it, and what did you learn from this one?
So, Maurizio, if you're not a self-motivated individual, it's a
Mhm.
problem. It's a problem. Go get a job and stick with it and have someone else to do the heavier lifting, if you will. Being a CEO, you're responsible for your employees' families, their kids, and what schools they're going to go to. You're responsible for all of your investors and their retirements. Perhaps it could be that's their money that for retirement. You're responsible for a lot of things in here. It is not just about what you're going to bring in technology. That's great. That is sure the product. It's the fruit at the end of the day. But what we don't pay attention is the byproduct. The byproduct are the investors who gave you their money. Okay, the employees who's putting their heart in it, and their spouses are removed a little bit from what we do as a startup, for example. Therefore, all they know startup is risky, and then they're worried. And I don't want that. So my job in here is to make sure that I own up to the responsibilities and to look after all of this stuff. So I'm telling you the honest to God, the truth. If you were to come in my home office, okay, and you sit in my home office, you will see Abraham Lincoln's picture right there, and George Washington is right there. Big portraits of them. Why? Because I stare in their eyes on occasions and I say, how did they do it when they faced hard time? Okay, how did these guys do it? Because they faced hard time and they prevailed. They pulled it off. Okay, and if they did it, why can't I do it? Those are these. Look, I'm a self-motivated individual to start with, and then what you look for in here is these kind of things that inspires you. Okay, when I see employees and at a function and their family with them, and then they're looking at me and they're talking about Amber as if they're working for Amber, it makes me feel so good. It means everybody is excited about what we're doing. So these are the things that motivates me, and it keeps me going, if you will. You've known me now long enough that you know that's the kind of guy I am.
I know. Let's play. If you could travel in time to any time in history, so in this case, you need to challenge the Einstein theory, but this is a physics problem, so no worry. But let's play. If you could travel, what would you do? Do you like to visit the past, the future? Why?
Look, so the future is nice. Okay, the future is going to come if we like it or if we don't, and it's just going to happen. And the future is going to be based on uh, multiple variables combined to collectively to bring us some kind of a future. It could go one way versus the other way, and so on. It's going to come, and it's coming at a speed a lot faster than what we thought. I'd like to go back, to be honest with you, and learn from history. History will guide us better, in my opinion. It guides because, and at the end of the day, as a matter of fact, I was at a show just recently. I was at a conference, the Morgan Stanley conference, and it was a very, very, very well done conference. One of the CEOs is sitting on stage, and he was talking about his company, a semiconductor prestigious company, and he said something that was so fascinating. He said, everybody talks about AI, 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 AI. He said, that's great. Without geometry, algebra, and physics, and the principles of stuff that we do today, there is no such thing called AI. We cannot forget about the principles on what takes us to the next stage. And that is why I like history. I like history. I like to go back and look at how these people prevailed, how they pulled it off. It's not easy, and I can learn from that only to improve on myself and improve on the future, perhaps through the next generation.
I like. So Tar, just my last one. So it has been a pleasure to know you more and to talk with you. My last one is which are your next projects? Maybe next vacation. I think that you like reading books. Which books you like more in this case? Maybe with a good wine. I know that you like drink wine.
I do. Yeah, wine is fun actually. It's my inventory is getting high. I'm getting almost to 1,200 bottles, so I need to start drinking maybe more, or maybe I should start buying more or less. Look, there is no vacation for a CEO. If anybody tells you CEOs take vacations, there's no such thing. You're working all the time. You're working in your sleep. You cannot turn it off. Okay. I'm blessed. I have my beautiful wife has been with me for years and years of being an entrepreneur, that she understands that I cannot be on vacation ever 100%. So no matter where I go, I am still working. And we learn to work with each other that way. So so I take small vacations here and there, 3 days here, 3 days there, whenever I can. But reality, it's work. You're still putting work into it. My wind down in this case is when, at the end of the day, sit down. I put the fire on, if you will, in the fireplace, and put the logs of wood in there, and get the fire going. Get a glass of wine, a little bit, and just relax. Okay. And start reflecting on the day, start reflecting on everything else that you're doing. And then as you start relaxing, believe it or not, you start solving problems that you couldn't solve during the day, because there's so much pollution during the day from so much going on, and you're putting out fires nonstop. I mean, CEO's job, by the way, they're firefighters. They put out fires all day long. So you get to relax and you start thinking about things, and then from a different perspective, and then eventually you start solving problems. So that's kind of my relaxation. I have a lot coming up this year. We have a lot of trade shows. I'm going to see you at APAC, and we have another one. We as you know, we won the Edison Award. So I'm going to be in Florida in April to be the recipient of our award. Which I'm very, very excited about. This is very nice for Amber.
Good.
So we have a lot coming up. We just taped out, and right now it means we got to start getting ready for manufacturing and scalabilities and all of this stuff. But this is fun. This is who I am. That's what drives me.
Congratulations. Nice one.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Tar. Thanks a lot for having you. See you
Thank
in
you.
a few days in Orlando. Have a nice weekend. Thank
I
you.
look forward to it. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.